Xi Jinping forced 10,000 people who fled overseas to return to China through an operation called Skynet, says human rights NGO. The CCP's message is that there is no escape.
Here's a summary of the article.
A new report published by a human rights NGO has detailed the methods used by China to force thousands of fugitives to return from other countries, describing the extent of Beijing's operations on foreign soil to control the Chinese diaspora. Spain-based NGO Safeguard Defenders highlighted 3 tactics sanctioned by China for this purpose: detaining the fugitives' relatives as a threat, sending agents overseas to illegally intimidate the person in question, or outright kidnapping them. Official data from China suggests nearly 10,000 fugitives have been returned since 2014 under a program codenamed Operation Skynet or Tianwang, Safeguard Defenders noted. In 2020 alone, 1,421 fugitives were extradited to China by Skynet, Chinese state media reported, touting the operation as an anti-graft campaign. When Skynet was launched in 2015, it absorbed a more well-known repatriation operation called Fox Hunt, which was lauded by state media and reported on extensively by Western news. The NGO noted that one of the groups most heavily targeted by this Skynet strategy is Uyghurs, a Muslim minority whose treatment by China has been the subject of international scrutiny. In a similar case, Safeguard Defenders interviewed an activist helping the son of a human rights lawyer escape China into Myanmar.
This post received a score of 12,000, with an upvote ratio of 92%. Here are the top comments in response to this article.
The name Skynet actually comes from a popular Chinese idiom by Lao Tzu. Basically means justice has long arms, can't escape from it.
Now I wonder if Terminator Skynet name was inspired from this Chinese saying.
Not sure about this specifically, but a segment I watched on the development of this tech, they said that the founder of the company named the program Skynet because Terminator was his favorite movie. Doesn't make it much better, it's pretty creepy.
Weird. Terminator's my favorite movie. And even as a child I understood that the movie's future wasn't FC King aspirational. Next up. Wayland Yutani Deep Space Mining and Exploration. Musk will totally do it.
Elon Jabroni Space Exploitation Corporation.
First operation. Space Exploration 10-year plan, or, as Elon likes to call it, the Shay XY plan.
Is that an exploration plan or his next kid's name?
Anything called Skynet is a pretty bad sign.
The CCTV surveillance system is also called Skynet. And I read somewhere that they are investing in AI for the PLA rocket force, although I think it was a joke when I read they were calling that system Skynet.
It's not a funny joke,
That is intentionally on the nose, isn't it?
Name comes from a 2,500-year-old Chinese expression that basically says nobody escapes judgment in heaven. The equivalent in Christianity would be something like God's eye.
Which would be a very creepy thing for the US government to name a program.
Yup, just innocent names like Patriot Act and Five Eyes in the West. Not creepy at all.
So what about the millions of Chinese immigrants in the West?
Yeah, it's not about them. It's about pursuing fugitives and people trying to smuggle money out.
Isn't this the same thing as tax for overseas Americans? As a Singaporean, every form I fill up for investment purposes asks me if I'm an American resident for tax purposes. Most Singaporeans have never even set foot in the US, but because of US regulations we always get asked. It is not about the tax evasion part, but about the audacity of having left with their money. Some of this group might actually have been people that illegally obtained their money in China, but I doubt that particular fact is the main reason behind an Operation Skynet. If you read the originally link, you'll note that Operation Skynet relies on 3 tactics to return people that have left China. 1. Arrest, detain the person's relatives left behind in China. 2.
There's also Operation Fox Hunt. Operation Fox Hunt. How China exports repression using a network of spies hidden in plain sight, edit. Which this article mentions and explains was the precursor. The ProPublica article is much better than the threads.
This video was automatically created by Reddit to speech. The article and comments in this video were selected from Reddit according to their upvotes, and any paraphrasing was performed by smmry.com, without any human intervention.